Hey, everybody. I did not forget about you. It's just been one of those days where it's been very productive, busy, but definitely productive. But I wanted to make sure that I got my live in as I promised, Monday through Friday. Ali Midawi here live with you from Neptune, New Jersey. For those of you who are watching us live, much love to you. For those of you who are watching us on a recording, much love to you too. Make sure you hit that share button because today we're going to talk about relationships. I know some of you come to this live thinking, all right, let's talk some business. But let me tell you, what I'm about to share with you right now will allow your business to be successful. And for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, drop a number 1 because I want to interact with you. For those of you who are regulars, drop a what on the comment box below. We're going to be rebroadcasting this on Instagram TV, on YouTube, and wherever else that we are allowed to be broadcasting this. So very first thing, I appreciate you all to give me the opportunity to share with you. And let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about something that I absolutely work hard at more than anything, more even than my business, every single day, and that is the love that I have for my beautiful wife. She and I work on each other and we try to outdo each other every single day. Now, a quick disclaimer. Every relationship is different. Every single recipe has its own flavor. So don't take what I'm about to share with you right now and say, well, my relationship sucks. Everything that I have with my significant other is horrible. There are different love languages and they may be speaking a different one that I don't speak. So I'm just going to share with you what I have done and my wife and I have done together to bring our relationship at a very strong foundation that is unshakable. All right. So first things first, a few years ago, it wasn't as pretty as it is right now. I have to take responsibility. I was more focused on my business than I was on my relationships. I was more focused on my vision to be successful than my vision to do things together with my wife long term. Now, it's not that I was a horrible husband. It's just I was not aware of the things that I was doing wrong. So let me just share with you a couple of different things. I joined network marketing, a company back in 2009, 2010. And, well, that one at the time, actually, I did it the right way. I started going hardcore. Every Saturday training, every Friday night leadership, every Sunday call, every single week, 6:30 and 8:30, I'm in a different house doing home meetings. I was nonstop animal beast mode, making all these phone calls. Every 3 months, I would go to a convention. Every month, I'm going to a different city for a regional event. I mean, I was everywhere, and I did it all right business-wise. But when you hear everything that I just shared with you, what is the missing element that I was not doing that could make my relationship better? That was spending time with my wife and including my wife. Now, she understood and she was very supportive and always has been, always is. The challenge with that is whenever that one time or many times that I did not have the hoped for results within my business, where the money didn't show up in the bank account, as I said, I promise you, sweetheart, the next 30 days there's a blitz and we're gonna make X amount of dollars, and it didn't. And then what would happen, and what most of you, if you don't have a supportive spouse or significant other, it's not that they want you to fail or they don't love you. It's the fact that you oversell your vision to them and they're saying, okay, I'm going to invest in you, because that's what they do. Now, you may say, well, it's my money, I worked hard, they're not investing anything. If you are in a relationship, you took time away from them to go to that training, that convention, that conference call. You took money that you could have spent on experiences, travel, a Broadway show, food at a restaurant, movie theater, and you invested it in a product or a service so you can showcase it, so you can be a product of the product, right? And if you think in your right mind, oh, I'm not doing anything to hurt my relationship, I'm only working hard to make it better for the future, that's great. But here's what I will tell you. See, money comes and goes. I've made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money, right? Those are the parts of the business world. But what you will never get back is time. And that significant other, they are not with you for the business. They were never with you for the business. They were with you for you. And therefore, if you are not like literally investing your time, energy, and resources just on the business, but you're not giving them the love they deserve in the relationship itself, or if you don't make them feel you are the priority before the business itself, you've made a very major mistake. Now, I know, again, I gave you a disclaimer. Don't compare yourself to myself. That's the decision that I made for my own relationship, for my own wife. And I was never always like this. I had my own demons at an early stage where I would literally leave for 3 weeks at a time and not come back home. And, my wife is waiting and I'm like, yeah, I'm busy. I'm creating our dream. I'm creating our this. Don't you believe in our reason why? And I'm giving her all those speeches. But what I failed to hear is she's saying, I just want my husband. I married you. I didn't marry a business. I married you. I didn't marry the money, the vacation. I just want to spend time with you. Now, again, I understand what it means to sacrifice for a business and for the well-being of the family long term. There's nothing wrong with working hard. But what I am telling you is include your spouse in the conversation and in the decision making. Now I'm going to give you some steps. Ready for it? If you're ready for some steps of what I did to get my wife to not only back me up, support me, but keep our relationship on the up and up, drop a number 2. I want to see some 2s. All right, let me tell you what we did. So very first thing is I do not make any financial decision without including my wife. Now, sometimes I have to sell my case. Sometimes I have to go all out. Babe, here's the thing. We're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to work with that person and we're going to create this. I give literally a whole game plan and I have to sell her on this idea of a business plan that I provided. Because although, yes, I could just swipe the card and say, oh, I just did this and I just did that. And she will be like, okay, fine, no problem, right? She won't have an issue. She won't be a restraining force, as we call it. But here's what happens. If the result don't show up at one point, at one argument, at one fight, which in a relationship, it's part of the relationship, that conversation will come back. And I will be like, what did you just say now? Now we have a much bigger problem. We have resentment. We have, things from the past that are coming back to haunt us. There is guilt. There is blame. Now, if you include your spouse in that decision, shouldn't be any blame. Shouldn't be any resentment because you've made a decision together. So that's the very first thing. The second thing is whenever I'm making plans, I ask, hey, is there any plans for tomorrow or next week or next month? We literally use our calendar and fill it up together. At one point, let me share with you what I did. I would literally go to my wife and say, hey, here's a calendar. Fill it up. Whatever you need. You can say doctor appointment. You can say movie night. You can say this. You can say that. Fill it up. Now, what would happen is I have all these empty spots in the calendar. I gave my wife the priority to fill it up however she pleases. Now, is there any reason for my wife to say, well, you don't give me time, you don't give me attention, you don't give me this? And vice versa. Men, same way. They have no reason or excuse. Why? Because you didn't talk about it, you showed you're my priority. Here you go. Do this and do that. Now, at times, I know it's going to be challenging. At times, it's going to be like, that is a non-negotiable event that I have to do that is making us a living. But if you just show that act of you are my priority, if you just show the act of I care about you more than I care about the business, by A, including your significant other in the conversation, in the financial decision, and B, allowing them to feel and see and have the priority in your schedule, in your day-to-day affairs, guess what? You are going to get the support. And last but not least, show affection in a public fashion. Now, this is where it's going to get a little weird on you guys. Me personally, what I found out, and this happened, there is a movie called Fireproof that I watched a long time ago. And there were things that, you gotta watch it. It's things that were advised to do every single day to fix a marriage. And the gentleman didn't do it just for 30 days. He went on and kept on going every day. And it just not only fixed his marriage, but it took it to a whole new level where it showed his wife what it means to have unconditional love. Well, I took it upon myself years ago, started a little bit here and there. It wasn't really that serious about it, but I'll never forget it when one day my wife and I were talking and she says, you know, you always are talking about everybody and edifying everybody on Facebook, giving a shout out to all the superstars and the rock stars as you refer to everybody, because that's how I refer to the people that I like the most, right? And that's all of you superstars and rock stars. And you never say anything about me. And I was like, huh, she's got a point. So guess what I did? I woke up one day and I put a reminder on my phone, a message to my wife. And every single morning, like clockwork, I put a note to my wife and I expressed my feeling. Hey, little munchkin, baby, come here. And then I started expressing my love. I started, come here, you can come with Papa. You want to see the people? You guys want to see the future? Bam! Daddy. So I started putting all this love notes every single day to her to express to her how I feel. Now, it was at first, see, I'm talking about you, but it made her feel so special. At least she said she did feel so special, to the point where I never wanted to stop. To the point where I wanted her to feel every single morning what it feels like to know that you are my priority. Because especially for a millennial like myself, we tend to go to that social media right away as soon as we start our day. We tend to go to our cell phones right away before we start our day. So guess what? I made it a point that you're my very first social media activity that I take. You're my very first act of the morning, is to show you that I care about you. Not only it showed her the love. Go ahead, Papa. Not only it showed her the love that I have for her, and publicize it, because at a period of time in my career, I was speaking in so many stages on a regular basis, talking to so many people on a regular basis, that you start interacting with every single person. And being a male, there's a lot of women out there that they don't mean anything negative or don't mean anything malicious, but they, oh my God, I love your speech last night. Oh my God, I love this and I love that. And it could be interpreted the wrong way to either myself, because there's temptation, or to the other person that is sending me that message. So by me making it very clear every single day, ladies, the love that I have for my love is right here, out and about. It removed any of those, let's just say, whether it was intentional or not, trolls and at one point I used to get messages that would be like in the middle of the night, I'll do anything to have you, all for me, right? Like things like that. And I'm not trying to make myself feel a little bit better. Okay, maybe a little bit. I'm trying to make myself feel cool. But it could be interpreted the wrong way to my wife. It could be just that conversation of who is she at 3 o'clock in the morning. It could create a major problem. So I eliminated a whole huge burden and let the world know, hey man, I'm 100% sold out on this beautiful woman. I'm 100% for this woman. And here's the thing, I get a lot of women, for the most part, that will send me a message, man, can you talk to my husband and my boyfriend or whatever significant other, let them see a little bit of the love that you're doing. And then I get another side, mainly guys, who would be like, dude, you gotta stop that, my man. You're making us look bad. I'm not making you look bad. First things first, you can't be mad at the guy who's doing his homework. I mean, that's just what I'm doing with my wife. Don't compare yourself to me. Just take the initiative and take what I just shared with you and make it your own style, right? You don't have to write notes every single day on Facebook. But hey, on your way home, buy a cheap flower for $5 from ShopRite or something and just say, hey, I was just thinking about you. That little tiny little bit of act, right? That will create what we call an emotional shock. An emotional shock breaks the patterns. When it breaks the patterns, it drives the other person to say, I want to do something different for you too. Karma, right? The more you do for someone, the more that someone is going to want to do for you. So I hope this little bit of pointers helped you out. I love my wife. We still have arguments here and there. We still have disagreements here and there. We still bump heads here and there. We still have cold shoulders here and there, right? Like, it's part of the marriage. That's what we signed up for. And, I learned at a wedding of a friend, and the pastor said, love is going to initiate the sparkles and the birds that are flying left and right. But love does not maintain a relationship. Only the ability for one to forgive the other is going to maintain that relationship. So unless you make a decision and forgive anything from the past and even from the future, because sooner or later you or her or you or him will make a major mistake or a small mistake that's just going to trigger the wrong emotion, the wrong conversation. So I am asking of you, love one another. Now the last piece of the puzzle, ready for this? This was huge for me. You going to mommy again? The last puzzle for me was, I used to care a lot more about how I was perceived and viewed by the masses than what it actually was in my household. In other words, my wife and I will go to a training event, and I would literally force my wife to come with me. I'm like, if you don't show up, people are going to think that you're not supporting me. And if you're not supporting me, they're going to say, well, if his wife is not supporting him, why would I love this business, right? It was that stinking attitude, the horrible thinking. How horrible of a mindset was it, right? And that's because I cared more about how people viewed me on a public eye, on a business setting, than what my relationship really was like. And it really hurt me. I mean, in a major, major way, because I got so invested on the way things look from the outside that I went on and, made some wrong moves. It hurt my relationship with my wife. So here's what ended up happening. In 2013 to 2014, for almost a year, we weren't together, essentially. I mean, we still have, the same house and everything, but I had my own life, she had her own life. How horrible of a husband was I? I still, till this day, I pray to God to find forgiveness. Now, we love each other, and she made her own fair share of mistakes as much as I have if I didn't do more. But we took responsibility and said we are no longer going to care what anyone thinks of us. We're just going to focus on one another. We are no longer going to care what people see or think of our relationship status. We're going to just make sure that our relationship, our love to one another is amazing. And every single day we focus on each other instead of the relationship status. So I hope these little bit of tips have helped you out. And the reason why they're so important, if the foundation of your relationship is so strong, everything else is nice and easy. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share my love with you. Beautiful Claudia Maritza Medawi, I love you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I drive you nuts and you drive me nuts, but we are here to stay. Much love. I will talk to you all soon. Take care, everybody.